Living. Welcome. I'm Ruth Hall, and this is Cookie Breakbill. We're going to be your song leaders today. But before we get started, just to let you know that if you're following the songs, the music, next Sunday the band will be back. One Love Band will be back, and then the Sunday after that, Laura and Rick Sterner will be here and doing some brand new songs that Laura just wrote. So we're excited about that. You want to join me for our opening songs? All right.
That was great. Thank you. That just cheered me right up. Good morning. I am Reverend Sharon Dunn, the Spiritual Director, the Senior Minister here at the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living, and I welcome you. Happy, yes, God is calling. Oh, I'm hearing a voice message. Turn off your cell phones. Thank you, Margie. Oh, we're pretty silly this morning, as we should be. Golly gosh. Joy is really a medicine for the heart, isn't it? Medicine for the heart. So happy Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And I do want to say that I'm going to spend a little time on one of his messages today that just filled me up, and I hope it fills you up as well. We are going to be asking you to consider a very important idea here, which is Ed McMahon is going to join me here. Ed McWoman. Etta McWoman is going to join me here as we solicit. And we are looking differently for board members now. When we first started 8 years ago, well, it'll be 9 years this year, 9 years ago, we just needed warm bodies. And we had amazing warm bodies. We had amazing consciousness and warm bodies and wonderful people of service. And now we're really looking at board members through our vision, mission, and purpose. Duh. Those passionate about our vision, mission, and purpose. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put this announcement here on the front page of our website so that you can refer people to our website and say, wow, because we're looking for people, someone you know or yourself who has these. We all have these, actually, who has an interest in mastering more of these qualities. Because when you get on the board, it's an experience of mastery, and I have grown just by having to get along with people and not having my way all the time and not being bossy and not, on and on and on. Not being Sharon, that part of Sharon that isn't someone like this. So I have grown and it's been amazing, and I've fallen in love with the people that have been my teachers. And I've fallen more in love with myself because I'm teachable. And so it's not that you have to walk on water or have mastery over every single one of these qualities. It's that it's in all of us. And if you would like the opportunity to grow those qualities even more, that's what we're looking for. So we have some people. Do we have some people leaving? Yes.
We have one board member that is terming out, and so we definitely need to replace that position. And we still have a couple of positions that are just vacant. I mean, we can have up to 7 people on our board. So we the more hands, the lighter the work. And also, I think one of the things to understand is the Board of Trustees for a 501c3, you're basically responsible for the fiduciary of a center. So you're helping us be in consciousness with our money and what we're doing, and supporting the teachings through making sure that our building, our finances, all those things work. So you don't need to be a rocket science. You don't need to be, studying. You don't need to be, in depth with science of mind. You need to be a person who's studying science of mind, and you're excited to be a part of a community that's going to help pave the way for more people to come. So that's really what the board is about. And it's also a great way to be in a team of people that are doing good things. It's a great way to be part of the community. And I think the biggest part is it's amazing what happens when you're of service. There's a lot of quotes that you see or hear about, if you want to be happy, help someone else. And it really is true, because when you're serving, when you're being of service, it really comes back to you tenfold. It's that ability to help someone else that makes you feel good. So the Board of Trustees for this center, they're brave. They're not perfect, but they're learning, and it's just really a great place to be in service. So I'm hoping that there's some people out there who are passionate about serving and can come and join us.
And you can talk to anybody on the board about it.
Any of the board members, if you're interested or know somebody that's interested, talk to myself or Margie or Reverend Sharon and any of the other board members that might be here in the coming weeks. We do need to fill those positions by the first Sunday in March, so that's coming up. Yeah.
Yes, we do. And what's nice about it is we do meet on Zoom, so
for the most part,
which
yes.
saves in traveling at night or whatever. When we have our board meetings, we like to have them just be 2 hours, no more. And we do a 6:30 to 8:30 once a month. So it's that's doable. And then there are 2 retreats that are mandated, that are, who doesn't want to have a retreat mandated? Where we do not work, we retreat. So we may bring a specialist in to teach us a new way of being together, or we may go on a boat for 2 days, or we may, and it's an opportunity for us to get closer to one another, to be the teaching, to be with one another. So it's a great opportunity to be close to clergy and the staff and all of that good stuff. So yes, please think outside the box when you're looking around at people. And one thing wonderful about Max Overland, our practitioner and board member, is that he is in San Jose. He comes through YouTube Live on Sundays, and is committed to being here once a month. Of course, when weather and COVID and all those restrictions aren't daunting, and so it's not. I wouldn't say it's a big time gouge. Would you, Ed?
No, it's not a big time gouge. What it is it takes some heart and soul and commitment to just participate. And we love that we have a board member that's out of town, because he sees things from a different perspective, but he also brings a perspective of being in a large CSL community in the past. And so we need people from other experiences, and we need people who are experiencing our center here as well. So it's just a great way to bring all those experiences to this center, so that we can keep growing and keep bettering ourselves. So yeah, it's not a large commitment. It's just a once a month meeting, and whatever else you can volunteer for. We always need volunteers. Mm-hmm. We need people to make coffee and
we do have somebody baking the cake for next month's birthday.
Yes, we have a birthday.
So thank you so much for all of that. Do you think you're going to, quantum mechanics say what you give attention to expands. So now that you have this in your attention, that person's just going to show right up. Mm-hmm. You might be looking in the mirror. So I have the honor and privilege of bringing our practitioner of truth, our board member who is leaving the board, very sadly for us, who may even want to say us something a little bit about that. But I'm going to bring Margie up here to pray us in. Thank you.
God morning, God morning, Sacramento, CSL. I would like to say it's been a great honor to be on the board. And I've been on a board at another center, and I always learn so much. And I like to see how it's running in the background, how they're doing financially, what they're doing. And it's been a great time here. I'm just very, very privileged to be a part of that. Thank you, all you board members. So with that, I invite you to go within and just feel grounded in the love of that divine presence, and call it what you may. For it's right here in our hearts. And it's all that's good. It's perfect, it's harmony, it's peace, it's abundance, it's love, love, love. And as I know this, I just know this, that this center is one and the same. Everyone here present and everyone watching us today on YouTube. And as I know we are one, we will enjoy our message with Reverend Sharon, the music and the fellowship, the community. And so together in gratitude for this day together, we say. And so it is. Thank you. And the readings today are by our Ernest Holmes. The marvelous teaching of Jesus is not quite so soft as it sounds. His words are statements of the great laws of cause and effect. Laws that produce justice without judgment, the inevitable result of laws that work with mathematical certainty. You cannot love and hate at the same time, nor can anyone else. Therefore, this man of wisdom said that light overcomes darkness. It did not say that darkness overcomes light. Ernest Holmes. And for Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And then from the 4 pivots, Reimagining Justice, Reimagining Ourselves by Sharon. Things right. Working harder, removing barriers, and analyzing policies simply don't get at a deeper, more fundamental issues that plague our movements for justice. Trust, vision, wholeness, human relationships, and hope are real lifetime of movement building. This means working on self-transformation, healing, hopefulness, and cultivating a vision of possibility. Yet these spaces do not exist in our work as we now know it. As a result, this absence has been the Achilles heel of our efforts to engage in social change in a deeper way. And now I invite you for affirmative prayer, creating your new life. And
this is an affirmative prayer for creating your new life.
Thank you.
Featuring the song, Brand New Life. The intention of affirmative prayer is to shift your mind and heart to a more loving, expansive place. Our affirmative prayers are designed to be used in one of 2 ways. 1, simply close your eyes and listen. Or 2, keep your eyes open and use the images to aid and enhance your experience of the prayer.
I'm creating a brand new life, living as a brand new me. Every day is a new beginning, another opportunity. Now I step out, living full on one day at a time. Look out, world, here I come. It's a brand new life. I'm creating a brand new life, living as a brand new me. Every day is a new beginning, another opportunity. Now I step out, living full on one day at a time. Look out, world, here I come. It's a brand new life. Now I step out, living full on one day at a time. Look out, world, here
Divine One. You are the energy of all of creation. As you are everywhere and in everything, so you are right here in me. In every moment, you are making me new. Right now, I am made new by your love, your wisdom, and your power. In this moment, I allow your grace and your wisdom to infuse my mind, my heart, and my soul. I allow you to guide the next steps of my life. I am willing to release what needs to be released to move forward, and I know you help me do this. In this space of newness, guided by your love, I am safe. I am always held and guided by you. Every step of the way, I am willing and I am grateful. Thank you, Divine One. Thank you.
Look out, world, here I come. It's a brand new life. Now I step out, living full on one day at a time. Look out, world, here I come. It's a brand new life. Yes, it is. Look out, world, here I come. It's a brand new life.
Is that McLean Z? Because you know it doesn't say it. You know, that was Melissa and Z, and they will be here in person in the fall. Not only doing a concert, but doing our Sunday service. They are my litter mates from seminary. So, wow, that was just beautiful. I mean, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I'm back. And so, yes, we are talking today about It's a New Day. That's my top title today. And this week, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who stood for equality, freedom, and justice for all, it's our opportunity to greet each new day with love, our financial support, time, and talent towards our collective grand rising. Grand rising, as you learned, is our annual theme this year, and it is a new day, and history has its eyes on us, does it not, this year, 2024. And when I thought of Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for some reason I just started researching and listening and reading some of his speeches. And I have just been so moved. The relevancy. He literally talks, you wouldn't even know he wasn't here today in 2024. He literally talks about a revolution. He talks about all the things going on right now. He talks about the only answer is love. The only answer. And, you know, we quoted, one of the readings was from our book of the month, The Four Pivots. And it talks all about social change. And it talks about we're not going to get there without love. And the message in that book is so amazing, because I think identifying our troubles is one thing. We need to know what is wrong here. But we have to concentrate more. We have to weigh more about what is right here. And we have to come up with that. We have to come up with what is right. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches are just so relevant. I'm going to bring one today. Excerpts of one, if I be so daring. I want to share one of his speeches because he may as well have been talking on the news today. He may as well be one of the great pastors that we all flock to because it's so relevant. But I'm going to start with Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes says, the marvelous teaching of Jesus, as we said, is not quite so soft as it sounds. Margie read this quote. What Jesus was saying is quantum mechanics, right? The inevitable result of laws that work with mathematical certainty. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember Jesus having like a computer or being online or having dinner with Einstein or any of those things. We all know in us. We all know. It was just like the board, the solicitation for come be on our board because we all have those qualities. Do you know, and I know more this week than ever before, that we cannot see outside of ourselves anything that isn't reflected within. It's impossible. So all the I'm seeing out there is in me. And it's not helping me to come from that vantage. What will help is for me to neutralize that energetically and be love in the world. So, and I thought it was interesting that Martin Luther King Jr. was quoting Jesus when he said his famous quote. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get really famous by a quote Jesus said. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. That's what Jesus said. Jesus said, light overcomes darkness. Light overcomes darkness. We need to know this, embody this, live and breathe it, act on it. Now more than ever. And Martin Luther King was saying the same thing, now more than ever. We can get this. If we do not get this, we will not have the world peace and love for one another that we seek. Isn't this what we want? Is this not what we want? We want peace. We want leaders with integrity and values and moral fortitude and all these wonderful qualities of love and light and purpose. And we want healthy relationships. We want a healthy government, healthy finances. But we can't just criticize and hate and I can't believe he said that. We can't live there and accomplish what we want to accomplish. And I know I say this in different ways every Sunday. But it's exciting to be reminded from these great teachers, from these great scriptures every week. Oh yeah, I could have had it, not a V8, but I could have been love in the world. So my 3 points today come right out of his speech. And that is eros, philia, and agape. Eros, philia, and agape. These are Greek words. These are Greek words for love. Eros, as we come up to Valentine's Day, is that love in that romantic way. It's aesthetic, concerned with beauty. Love, a sort of yearning of the soul for the realm of the gods. The passion, yes? And it's come to us to be a sort of romantic, beautiful love. Eros. That's my love for Larry. Philia, on the other hand, are you aware of all these different You're all aware of all this, these Greek words, right? Of course. I'm just singing to the choir because we're experts in love. Philia, mind you, is then the Greek language, talks about philia. That is another type of love that's also beauty. Beauty being the principle of spirit, yes. It is a sort of intimate affection between personal friends. My prayer partner. I am in love with my prayer partner. And I know everyone online who is listening that my prayer partner probably is as well. And you'd like to know that I do love you. Who doesn't want to know that they're loved? And this is the type of love that you have for those people that you're friendly with, your intimate friends, or people that you call on the telephone. I like that, telephone, cell phone, and you go by to have dinner with, and your roommate in college, and that type of thing. It's a sort of reciprocal love. On this level, you like a person because that person likes you. You love on this level because you're loved. And you love on this level because there's something about the person you love that is likable to you. I love this week that I've had with my colleagues who we are fighting for diversity and inclusion as long as we agree. If you ever stand for something, as long as you do it my way, we can stand together. I don't do that. This philia is this beautiful love. You can communicate with a person. You have certain things in common. You like to do things together. This is philia. We have friends like that in this very room. And then there's agape love. Now today, Martin Luther King's speech is talking about agape love. The Greek language comes out with another word for love. It is agape. It is more than eros. I had a dog named Eros.
Oh,
It was this beautiful black shepherd that scared everybody. And, I mean, he looked terrifying. But not to me. To me, he was just this blubbering, sweet puppy. And I used to call him Eros the Rose. But this agape is something of the understanding, creative, redemptive. We're going to look at the word redemption. Redemptive, goodwill, and here it is, for all people. Not the ones you call on the phone, not the ones you're in love with, and not the ones that is your prayer partner. All people. This is a love that seeks nothing in return. It is an overflowing love. It is what theologians would call the love of God working in the lives of humankind. Isn't that beautiful? This is Martin Luther King. He's talking about these three loves. And when you rise to love on this level, you begin to love all. Just got God bumps. Not because they're likable, but because God in you loves them. You know, we say, I am that is. Well, I can't turn that off selectively if that's who I am. But I do. And so isn't it wonderful to be here today to remember agape love? We need to infuse our culture with agape love. And he goes on to say, you look at everyone and you love them because you know God loves them. And one might be the worst person you've ever seen. And this is what Jesus means, I think, in this very passage when he says, love your enemy. And it's significant that he does not say, like your enemy. What a relief that is. And so when he talks about love thy enemy, I know these are big words, enemy, hate. They're big words. So I'm going to do a little defining so that we can work together on these concepts, this conversation we're having this morning. I'm defining enemy as a person who is actively opposed or hostile. Well, I have enemies. I can identify an enemy in my life. I know that person is hostile. I know that person is actively opposed, probably to some of my even core beliefs. Is anyone relating to this with me, please? Am I the only one with an enemy? Okay, dear. One who harms or seeks to weaken someone else. I just think enemy is a hard term, but golly gosh, when you define it, not so much. They're everywhere. Everywhere. The Latin word inimicus is the root of enemy, and it means not a friend. An enemy is not a friend. It's not a harsh judgment, folks. This is just ways that we can disseminate what we're experiencing out in the world. This is a way that we can kind of define our terms and go, wow, yeah, love thy enemy. This is good works. I want to be that in the world. I want to be that leader that loves my enemy. And this, he goes on to say, how do you go about loving your enemy? He says, begin by analyzing yourself. Martin Luther King is speaking physics. We have to look inside first, because we can't have seen it. We can't have felt it if it didn't live within us. That's the part I'm really not happy with. I would like it very much to be about the other. But there is no other. Some people aren't going to like you. I cannot believe that. That is just terrible. They're going to dislike you, not because of something that you've done to them, but because of various reactions that are so prevalent in human nature. This is amazing. Isn't this amazing? A second thing that an individual must do in seeking to love his enemy is to discover the element of good in his enemy. Invite me back next week. And I don't always go there first. I personally forget that part. There is nothing good about that person. I don't even consider it. And every time you begin to hate, now listen to this. This is not him, this is me. And how I looked at hate. Have an intense and passionate dislike. We do that. Have you ever had a passionate and intense dislike? Then we hate. That's what it is. Defined. Not by Sharon Dunn, by Webster, with a little bit of tweaking by Sharon. And that person, so every time you begin to hate that person and think of hating that person, realize that there is something good here and look at those good points, which will overbalance the bad points. And one thing, when I get to a really disturbing behavior and can't see the forest for the trees and I don't know how to find the good, I remember that the person believes in what they're doing. The person literally believes that they're doing the right thing. And that person may or may not have done the self-actualization to understand that other people don't feel that way. So I try to say at least something good, that that person is passionate about their beliefs. How's that? That's a good one. They're passionate about, just like who? Me. I am passionate about my beliefs. I'm as passionate about my beliefs as that person I can't stand is passionate about their belief. So what? We're in oneness. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, I think I sold that, but I'm not sure. And so realizing that there's good points will help, of course, balance us into dealing with the bad. Yes? Good outweighs bad in calculating mathematically. That's a thing well, Martin Luther King didn't say this was Sharon, but that's an important thing to remember, is that we can outweigh, we can neutralize, we can cancel out hate. And good outweighs. It's a very good thing to know. Because, if you feel like, what can I do? Do good. That should be a t-shirt, I think. This part I had a little struggle with. Within the best of us, he says, there is some evil. Now, I had to look up evil, because I'm using words like hate, enemy, evil. Those are hard words for me, because I have that, Pollyanna kind of outlook on life. And so for me, I had to be with evil and look that up as well. And so I got to this: profoundly wrong. So instead of, if you can't do evil, if you can't do the word evil, and I'm doing it because I want to admit what's in me. I want to know, I want to do that self-reflection so that I can love. And so I will admit that there is things profoundly wrong with me at times. I might think in ways that are profoundly wrong, and I might act and behave in ways that are profoundly wrong. Anyone else? Thank you. There wasn't a lot of passion in that. I'd like to have a amen. Amen. We're talking about Martin Luther King here. Amen, sister. Because it's hard to say I am evil. We don't have to say I am. Remember the I am affirmation when you say, you could say I have behavior that, or I have ideas that. Okay, you work with me here. He goes on to say, you look in the face of everyone and see deep down within them the image of God. You are the face of God. If you can't find anything good about that person, how easy is this? We can be assured, we know, we believe that you are the face of God. Not just if you agree with me, and not just if you have the same belief system. And so that is an amazing place to live from. And it soothes me when I'm in my forgetfulness and in my reactivity to remember that. You are the face of God. When the opportunity, this is an amazing idea as well. He says, when the opportunity presents itself for you to defeat your enemy. Ooh, yeah. I love that part. That is the time you must not do it. Right. There will come a time when you will have an opportunity to lift up that person, even in consciousness. And for some of our leaders, that's got to be an everyday practice. A spiritual practice. Every day. For the rest of this year, we must practice lifting up humankind. It might be this opportunity, right? It might be in terms of a recommendation for a job. It might be in terms of helping that person to make some move in their life, that helping them in some way. That's the time you must do it. That is the meaning of love. That is agape love. Love is creative, understanding goodwill for all. It is the refusal to defeat any individual. Oh my goodness, what an idea. Agape love is the refusal to defeat any individual. When you rise to the level of love, it's great beauty and power. You seek only to defeat evil systems. Isn't that wonderful? We need to readjust our thinking so that we are not thinking in terms of the person whom we have agape love for, but rather the systems that are feeding that. Individuals who happen to be caught up in that system you love, but you seek to defeat the system. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful? And this is what Jesus means when he says, love your enemy. It is significant that he does not say like your enemy. And it is significant that it is a sentimental something, an affectionate something. There's a lot of people that I find difficult to like, he says. Martin Luther King. But Jesus says, love them. And love is greater than like. I bring these, what is greater than that, because this is the science of mind. If we know what we can work with, what's heavier, what weighs more, that's helping us to put into that formula. How can I contribute in consciousness to the peace and to the power of this country and all over the world in every situation? And by the way, this is Martin Luther King Jr. He had the same situations going on. We've got to do better as a human race. And it's the same message. By the way, I think Jesus was here, 2,000 years ago, trying to get this across. It's so wonderful to know this. It's so uplifting to know that there is something we can do. Love is understanding, redemptive goodwill for all. Love is understanding, which I think is the first thing, because if I don't understand something, I'm reactive. Are you? I'm just, and then I have to go, oh, what's all this? Well, first I just react and get into self-righteousness. And then I'm like, nah, that's not it. And then I have to, I have to check in, and then I have to do a lot. You know me, I love research, and I'm researching, and I'll be going through all the scriptures and the texts and going back to basics and, everything I can possibly think of to settle down. Then I can start from there. And then I can understand. I can put it together, and I can get to agape love. I can. And I'm thrilled with that. That is a spiritual practitioner practiced. It's not the first knee-jerk. None of us are going to do that. We're going to react first. We have to find our way in it. But those who are seeking to contribute to peace and love in the world, then will find their way, and the next step is to understand. Say more about that. Why is that happening? Where is that person coming from? Hurt people hurt people. Good outweighs the bad in calculating mathematically. within the best of us, yeah. So we're not going to go back to that. We're going to go forward. The awakened person is the person. Now, he didn't say awakened. I will say a lot of this is what he's saying, but when I interject something, I will let you know that I'm using the term awakened. The awakened person is the person who can cut off the chain of hate and the chain of evil. Hate, he says, also distorts the personality of the hater. There's nothing more tragic than to see an individual whose heart is filled with hate. Like, even though they're really beautiful to look at, they won't appear beautiful. They'll be something like, ew. Ew? For the person who hates, the beautiful becomes ugly, and the ugly becomes beautiful. The good becomes bad, and the bad becomes good. Hate destroys the very center of your creative response to life and the universe. Are you kidding me? We are looking at the very center of our response to life and the universe is why we're sitting in these chairs. Well, if hate distorts that, we don't want that. We don't want that, do we? Love has within it, and here's our redemption. These words, redemption, salvation, they've been sort of hard for me to embrace, and until I understand them, until I do my own spiritual translation and get the meaning. What was the meaning behind the word? And these are beautiful meanings. Love has within it a redemptive power, and there's a power that eventually transforms individuals. This is how we transform. We can't go from A to B without, well, maybe some of us can. I will say, I have a process. Do you? I have a process that I have to go through to sort things out. Like, there's something wrong here. And my ugly reaction doesn't contribute well. Golly gosh. And when we discovered that we would be able to make this old world a new world. He's talking about a new world when? In the 60s? We have the power to love our enemies. And this is the last. We have a power to love our enemies. To bless persons that curse us. To be good to those persons who hate us and pray for those persons who despitefully use us. Well, this is quite a calling, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I am called. That's right. I was called to ministry. I need to get this. So he told two stories, and I want to share the stories with you before we close. He says, we all remember the great president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. You remember when Abraham Lincoln was running for president? No, I don't. But there was a man who ran all around the country talking about Lincoln. He said a lot of bad things about Lincoln, a lot of unkind things. And sometimes he would get to the point that he would even talk about his looks. I pause here because I think we do that. When we're really disturbed and upset, we attack. Make cartoons out of. And sometimes he would get to the point that he would even talk about looks. And you don't want a tall, lanky, ignorant man like this as the president of the United States. He went on and on and on and went around with that type of attitude and wrote about it. Finally, one day, Abraham Lincoln was elected president of the United States. And if you read the great biography of Lincoln, if you read the great works about him, you will discover that as every president comes to the point, he came to the point of having to choose a cabinet. And then came the time for him to choose a Secretary of War. He looked across the nation and decided to choose a man by the name of Mr. Stanton. And when Abraham Lincoln stood around his advisors and mentioned this fact, they said to him, Mr. Lincoln, are you a fool? I'm sure they didn't say that. I'm sure they said, are you kidding me? Do you know that Mr. Stanton has been, do you know what Mr. Stanton has been saying about you? Do you know what he has done, tried to do to you? Do you know that he has tried to defeat you on every hand? Do you know that, Mr. Lincoln? Did you read all of those derogatory statements that he made about you? And Abraham Lincoln stood before the advisors around him and said, oh, yes, I know about it. I read about it. I've heard him myself. But after looking over the country, I find that he's the best man for the job. Mr. Stanton did become Secretary of War, and a few months later, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. And if you go to Washington, you will discover that one of the greatest words or statements ever made about Abraham Lincoln was made about this man, Stanton. And as Abraham Lincoln came to the end of his life, Stanton stood up and said, now he belongs to the ages. And he made a beautiful statement concerning the character and the stature of a man. If Abraham Lincoln had hated Stanton, if Abraham Lincoln had answered everything Stanton said, Abraham Lincoln would have not transformed and redeemed Stanton. Stanton would have gone to his grave hating Lincoln, and Lincoln would have gone to his grave hating Stanton. But through the power of love, Abraham Lincoln was able to redeem Stanton. I just thought that was such a beautiful story. I didn't know that. I don't know if you know that. But one, but the other story that Martin Luther King told, and I'll kind of paraphrase. So you know how you're driving at night, and some people don't turn their brights down, and you're like, and then you get in fear. I get in fear because I'm going to crash, right? So I'm really mad. What is the other side of fear? Anger. And in this story, all these drivers were not dimming their lights. And so this driver who was talking to his passenger said, well, I'm just going to leave my brights on. And the story goes that somebody somewhere must have some sense. And that person riding shotgun talked this person down and said, someone has to make sense. Someone has to drive with agape love, or there's going to be mass destruction, and we're all going to crash. And that is kind of where we are right now in 2024. Someone, something, some group of us has to make sense. And we cannot afford hate. Not any longer than our first reaction. Because that's normal. That's being human. The minute that happens, that's a signal, because we're trained with a spiritual practice every day. When we react like that, it's to say, ooh, what is going on in here that is reflecting out there? Own it first. Someone has to make sense. And so I will end with this quote from Ernest Holmes. And this is from The Thing Called Life. 1943. Wisdom of the sages. He says, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Perhaps one of the greatest phrases in sacred literature. Places immediate salvation within the reach of all, but automatically causes us to suffer so long as we impose suffering. We could not ask for a more complete justice, a greater givingness, nor a more exalted concept of the divine forgiveness. The nature of God is revealed as infinite tenderness coupled with exact law. Ashe.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Let us pray. So there is a power and a presence called by many, many names, and I call it forth right now as agape. I call it forth right now as the principle of love. Agape. A love so vast, so infinite, forever, always present. A love all around us all the time. A love that is accessible. A love that is absolutely there to embody, to become, to live, to have its being in everyone, each of us. We are born of agape love. That agape love connects us to each other. We're mirror images. There is no place I am different in my agape love. I don't have more. You have less. The only thing agape love requires is to express itself in its creation. That's all. I just become. I become love. I forgive myself for my reactions, knowing that it's just my humanness, and that's okay. My humanness needs to know where I stand, and my reactions help me understand. And then, my awakened soul uplifts me out of that so that I can be agape love everywhere. This is the law that makes it so simple. I don't have to do anything. Just become and act in love and speak in love and serve in love and to love others. This is the charge of 2024. There is no greater time there is no greater time. And so for this prayer answered, because these words spoke it with conviction and love, and it's good for all, I know it is done. I release my word into the law that happily takes it into manifestation and demonstration. Nothing to do here. I'm so grateful to know this as we say together. And so it is.
Wow. This is a song that I wrote for my daughter. And really the message is for all of us just to be brave and be open to all of the amazingness that is inside us. When a step seems too hard to take, every turn feels like a big mistake. It makes you want to close your eyes and hide. Trust yourself, even if you're scared. Don't give up, don't give in to fear. All the strength you seek, you'll find inside. Open
it's our offering time. Am I on? Anyway, and we know that giving is a very sacred service. And as we give, we give out to our community, to the area that is in most need. We share with all that we have, and because we feel so blessed. So, so here's our abundance affirmation, and if you'd like to say it with me, I invite you to. It's a grand rising. Okay, in consciousness of abundance, I give freely, knowing that I am freely given to. And that's so true. And then our offering song, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Yes. And now I invite you to go within. And in gratitude for our service today, the beautiful message from Reverend Sharon, and our time spent together, especially after, and fellowship and our community, we just give thanks as we go into 2024 with conviction that it's surrounded in love. And so are we.
So it is. Thank you.
Oh, and prayer requests, don't forget to send them in because prayer works.
Yes, it does.
We see it all the time. So please go to our website, www.csl.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie. That was amazing. So one thing that we were talking about at the beginning was board members, and they need foundations, which is the only must-have. And remember that the class that we're teaching, that I'm teaching for the next 6 Saturdays, first Saturday of the month, is a foundational class. So if you feel like I can't do it because I haven't had foundations, come on. At the first Saturday of the month for the next 5 months. And I will help you know what happened in the first class. So we have one more opportunity because after class 2, we generally close our classes.
Quick question.
Yes, Ed.
Ed. So if somebody is in this class, would they be able to, if they are so moved to apply for board membership?
Yes.
Would they be able to do that?
Yes, they would, because they would be able to say, I am meeting that requirement, that prerequisite. Absolutely. And besides, foundational classes are the prerequisite for other classes that we have here. So this class is a very, it's a great class. We have a great group.
Oh,
yeah. And so don't forget that January 20th is Volunteer Day, and we're going to be putting in the insulation and sheetrock in our sanctuary. Wow. And Larry, our project manager, is going to be leading that. So again, if you don't know how to do insulation and sheetrock, please still come, because there's a lot of other things we're going to be doing in the sanctuary, as you can imagine. Not to mention having fun, dancing, eating, sharing snacks, and so on. Just being ourselves, being our social selves. Team building. We have a workshop coming up on the last Sunday of the month with Reverend Debbie. Everybody loves doing this. We do our vision board of 2024. We like to get this particular workshop in January so that we get ourselves situated for the rest of the year. And the next class will start in February, and this will be an online class on Zoom. And this is every week. So you wouldn't just come once a month. You would be coming every week. not to confuse anyone. And that class is on visioning a way of life. Again, a certificated class offered by Centers for Spiritual Living, and it's a wonderful spiritual practice. For me, it is my favorite, and I feel it is the most important. And we are, I know. And I just wanted to thank everyone. I was very, just thinking of Martin Luther King and thinking of us and thinking of 2024 makes me feel very emotional. I feel like it's now. We've got to get these concepts. And it's been a tough week, as some of you know. My 18-year-old puppy made her transition yesterday. And I thought to myself, wow, you can do this. You can get in the shower, you can get dressed, you can show up. And that's what we can do in 2024. Thank you.
Love be with you.
Love be with you.
Let's join Gary Lynn singing this beautiful song.
Love be with you,
Love be with you.
peace enfold you,
Peace enfold you.
spirit lift you,
Spirit lift you.
breathe it in,
Breathe it in.
truth come through you,
Truth come through you.
may good flow to you,
May good flow to you.
let joy renew you,
Let joy renew you.
till we meet again.
Till we meet again.
Love be
With you.
Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you.
Love be with you, peace enfold you,
Spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, may good flow to you. Let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you.
Love it. Gary, we love you.
You all.
And you know that Melissa and Z, Gary, and
Karen Drucker?
Denise.
Denise.
The music that we heard today, we will tithe to them. And Denise was at a Silmar. We got to hear her live, and of course we'll have Gary here this year. We'll have Melissa and Z, and I just want you to know that we are circulating in the law of circulation with these beautiful musicians that